So this video is late, and I blame you. It's late because I have just spent all week watching that 70s show. I'm up to season 3 if anyone wants to talk about it. And don't worry, that is somewhat relevant. So, do you remember when YouTube ads were good? Now, I'm not making this up, I swear. There was a time where videos were not preceded by Hollywood trailers or random TV spots that you would just blindly skip or buy YouTube Premium to avoid. Back in the day, YouTube ads were an extension of the YouTube community. And that phase lasted just about through the year of 2009, and that's it. If you were on this platform in 2009, then 100% guaranteed you remember the Ora Brush ads. Now, the product Ora Brush was patented by Dr. Bob, yes, that's his real name, in the early 2000s, and as the story goes, he couldn't sell a single brush. He ran an expensive TV infomercial, and after the run of that, he made a grand total of 100 sales. So when Dr. Bob was 75, he took his product to a university marketing class and asked the students what they would do about marketing such a product. Most students dismissed the Ora Brush for online marketing simply because their market research concluded that 92% of people would have no interest in the product at all. And then one student raised their hand and said, "Well, that still leaves 8%. Are you sure you don't just want to try it?" And Dr. Bob said, "Yes, you, I pick you. I choose you." That's the Pokemons. I know all about Pokemons. There's Wobbuffet. So long story short, Dr. Bob paid this student with his very own motorcycle and then gave him a $500 budget to create an ad. And this was the Ora Brush ad we all saw. It went absolutely viral, and most of us have seen it by now. It has 26 million views, which by our standards doesn't seem like much. But back in 2009, for essentially an ad to have that many views on YouTube was just... This was the first YouTube ad campaign that had actually worked. Before then, there had never been any sort of ad like it using YouTube's pre-roll ad system. And Ora Brush is still the #1 tongue cleaner in the world. And now today, we're going to be going through the history of Ora Brush ads to see what really made these things go viral. And why 10 years later, I'm still thinking about them so much that I just had to make a video about it to see if other people were still thinking about it. The first video is called Bad Breath Test, How to Tell When Your Breath Stinks. This is the ad that everyone would probably remember. This was the viral one, 26.7 million views. Man, are you gonna have a good time if you've never seen this before? First things first, man, that YouTube stock music. I don't miss it. I don't miss it at all.
Halitophobia, the irrational fear of bad breath. I'm a halitophobic. I'm not so much afraid of me having bad breath, I'm afraid of other people having bad breath. As in, hey buddy, your breath smells like crap! Maybe you should develop a case of halitophobia.
Props to whoever invented jump cuts. This is probably the most jump cutty video I've ever seen. Like, if somebody asked me what a jump cut was, I would send them this video, even though it's not necessarily the one where you just like jump across the screen or something.
Oh, let me go! Stop it! That isn't funny!
Also, I think the initial appeal to why people never clicked off this ad is people on the internet like learning things. This was, I think, my first instance of learning what halitosis was, because I heard it in this video, and I heard halitophobia in this video, and I googled it. And that was sort of just a bit of information that has come up a lot throughout my life.
Now I know what you're asking. How do we know if we have bad breath? You use this. You use a spoon. Now I know what you're thinking. A spoon, you eat with a spoon, you play spoons. You spoon your girlfriend. You take the spoon, you hold it and forward.
Should I go get a spoon? I should go get a spoon.
You take the spoon and you stick it at the back of your tongue and gently scrape. Let it dry and take a whiff. If it stinks, your breath stinks. And if your breath stinks, this is the only kind of spooning you're gonna be getting.
It's fine. I scrub my tongue a lot. Originally I was going to make the joke that I gagged when I smelt it, but that joke's sort of been spent already.
The smart viewer out there will note, to check your bad breath, you notice that we checked our tongue. 90% of bad breath comes from bacteria and residue on the tongue. On your tongue.
On your tongue. On the tongue. On your tongue. On your tongue.
On your tongue.
Where does it come from? Sorry?
Now your mom doesn't sound so stupid for telling you to brush your tongue, now does she?
You really just got up close and personal with me then. Not sure if I liked it. I did.
Tongues are like sponges, soaking up all that bacteria. Toothbrushes are meant to clean the smooth surfaces of your teeth, not your tongue. And the tongue scraper? You remember the sponge, right? The tongue scraper just goes over the top of your tongue. This ain't gonna work. And mouthwash? This is like trying to clean your carpet with a hose. You're just watering down the problem.
Man, I loved this at the time. But if someone released it today, I would say, hey, 2009 called. They want their random jump cut informational science YouTube videos back. It's just a lot to take in now. Like, it was well made for the time. It was groundbreaking. But it's not 2009 anymore. Also, just to be clear, this video right here was like the highest quality YouTube videos got. By today's standards, this looks like it was made by a student, but back then, this looked profesh.
And then there's the option that actually works. This, the Ora Brush. The soft bristles feel great on your tongue. You just go back and forth a few times, then go all the way back, pull it forward, and see what comes off.
I have never been able to get the image of the purring Ora Brush out of my head. Been 10 years.
It's the cure to bad breath. You can use this longer than your toothbrush. Use it in the morning, eliminate morning breath, fresh breath all day, and then use it at night, right before bed. You know what I'm talking about, huh? So do you and me and the rest of mankind a favor, get one of these. And your Uncle Steve, the one who looks like he's got a thick coat of fur on his tongue, get him one too. Put it in his Christmas stocking. He'll thank you for it later. His wife will, the kids will, everybody will be happier, trust me.
Get your first Ora Brush free at orabrush.com/free.
So not only were they selling me a product with a fantastic ad, but they were also going to give it to me for free. I never got one, and for this video... So I never got one, and for this video I actually tried to buy one, but unfortunately I live in Australia, and you just can't. But if you have one, please send it. I don't care if it's used. My P.O. box is 4. The other thing I should mention is at the start of the video I promised that 70s show would be relevant. This guy, Austin Craig, I think. Let me check my source. Austin M. Craig. He reminds me so much of Topher Grace.
Ooh, my spider sense is tingling. If you know what I'm talking about.
You know what I'm talking about, huh?
It's not necessarily his face or anything. Like, his facial features definitely remind me of Topher Grace, but I think it's a mixture of that and his voice, and the way he speaks just reminds me so much of Topher Grace, and I love Topher Grace. And maybe that's what reminded me to watch these ads. Maybe it was watching that 70s show. But anyway, we have more ads to get through, so I'm not going to get caught up on that one. This one is more to the naming conventions of a 2009 YouTube video. This one is called Funny! Test your breath. The stench that stole Christmas.
It's that time of year again. For some of you to brush your teeth, and for the rest of us to give gifts. Whether you celebrate Christmas, Hanukkah, Kwanzaa, Ramadan, or Boxing Day, somebody you know has breath that smells like the wrong end of a reindeer. Wrong end of a reindeer.
Wrong end of a reindeer. You can notice already that this is much higher quality than the last one. They must have sold a lot of brushes because, Well, they were giving them away for free last time, and now the video is so much higher quality. This one has 2.5 million views, and it came out just 2 months after the original one. But it looks fantastic. Like, good work. It looks fantastic.
Happy freaking holidays! Your breath reeks. Now I know what you're asking. How do I know if I'm on the good breath list or the bad breath list?
Check the hot.
This is not just for stirring hot cocoa. You just put the spoon on the back of your tongue, gently scrape, and let it dry. If it stinks, your breath stinks. You're on the bad breath list. So instead of a person, you can kiss your chances into the mistletoe goodbye. It's the stench that stole Christmas.
Oh, what a cute dog.
Now for all you good boys and girls out there, you'll notice that to check our breath, we checked our tongue. 90% of bad breath comes from bacteria and residue on the tongue. On the tongue.
On the tongue. On the tongue. On the tongue. On the tongue. On the tongue.
Your tongue is like snow, soaking up all that bacteria. Toothbrushes are meant to clean the smooth surfaces of your teeth, not your tongue. A tongue scraper, that's like trying to clean your carpet with a snow shovel. Mouthwash is like trying to water down yellow snow. Does that really help? And then there's the option that actually works. The Ora Brush. The soft bristles feel great against your tongue. It's like a little workshop in your mouth. Think of the bristles like little cleaning elves.
The cat purr I liked. That one didn't sit well with me.
It's the cure for bad breath. Use it in the morning for fresh breath all day. And it's easy to use. Just go back and forth on your tongue a few times, go all the way back, pull it forward, and see what comes off.
'Tis the season to be jolly, fa la 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 la.
It's the cure for bad breath. Use it in the morning for fresh breath all day. And that Christmas party, you know what I'm talking about. 'Tis the season for giving, so this year, give us all a gift. Get an Ora Brush. Stuff it in your stocking, wrap it up, do whatever you need to. And for the rest of us, let's get in the spirit. Spread the cheer around. If you're afraid of offending anybody, just stuff it in their stocking and laugh when they pull it out. No, seriously. Go to orabrush.com/gift to get your free Ora Brush.
So far, what I can see with these ads, I essentially know why they're so successful already, because just from those 2 videos, or even by the first one, I understand exactly how the Ora Brush works, what it does, what it's for, and why you need it, how the tongue works. And that is a really effective ad, in my opinion, not to mention the fact that they're giving you one for free. I really do want an Ora Brush. I really want an Ora Brush. This next video is sort of a product of its time. It's a little video where they advertise an app called the Bad Breath Detector. I would watch this video, but the app doesn't exist anymore, so I can't download it, and the beta test for it is also gone. So I'm just gonna skip over this one. It's also not high quality. This one is called Breaking Bad Breath Cure discovered on YouTube.
Good evening and welcome to the OraBrush News Network, the only network dedicated to curing the world's bad breath, one made-up story at a time. Tonight in the news, some areas of the southern United States are facing an ice storm, the likes of which have not been seen in years. Some residents were even housebound for a period of several hours.
Now, this was January 2010. Yeah, they're getting a bit outdated, these videos, already. I would have watched this in 2009. I don't think even in January of 2010 I would have been watching it. And you know how I know? Because I never saw this video in particular. But what I think is so funny is the fact that they're going with a fake news broadcast, which I think was such a big craze for YouTube videos that I don't believe there is a YouTuber now who was active in 2009 who never made a fake news video. I even made a fake news broadcast in 2009 on my first YouTube channel, which you'll never be able to see. Maybe I'll give you a little bit of a clip of it. I don't know if I'll be able to find it. or if I'll want you to watch it.
And now a word from our sponsor.
You guys should all really get an OraBrush.
Back to the news. Hygiene pundits are proposing the Ora Brush as a cure for not only bad breath, but also the ailing economy and even war in the Middle East.
Now, we all know about the Ora Brush getting people to sing and to dance and even to get people to start spontaneously kissing.
But the most persistent claim is that Ora Brush use can permanently end loneliness.
I have since that time gotten with 17 women.
That's all for tonight. Next time on OBNN, we'll look at the claims that the Ora Brush can preserve your marriage.
What the Ora Brush is a tongue cleaner. It has a tongue scraper at the end and these soft bristles to clean your tongue and get all that gunk that's stuck in there.
The end of this video I find sad because there are just a bunch of links to people who have reviewed the Ora Brushes, but it was entirely reliant on annotations. The links aren't in the description or anything, and as I said in my previous video, I find it so sad, all the content that's now just going to be lost due to the fact that all annotations are gone. You didn't need to delete them. Although this end screen does go for like 2 full minutes or something. I think everyone got their 5 seconds of fame from that. The next video is how to clean your tongue with OraBrush. This was released in March of 2010 and has 700,000 views. Whoa, he was in front of those titles in 2010. That is insane. How did the text go behind him?
We've been hearing reports that some people don't really get how to use the Ora Brush. Now, I'm no rocket surgeon, or even a dentist. But if anyone knows how to use the Ora Brush, it's me.
The moment you wake up.
Before you put on your makeup.
You brush your little teeth for me.
Oh, it's good. Production value is great again. Still love Austin. The singers are great. So it's great. It's a great ad. I don't know what I was going to say bad about it. I guess it's just not 2010 anymore.
Take your Ora Brush now. Make sure you don't have cotton mouth now. And brush your little tongue for me.
You want to make sure you have moisture on your tongue. Either water or mouthwash.
And that ad just added one more bit of information to me. Make sure your tongue is moist. Which I do when I brush my tongue. Which I do when I brush my tongue with a toothbrush. But man, I want an Ora Brush!
Now remember, a lady scrubs lightly, a gent scrubs gently. A demonstration. This is your tongue. Go back as far as you can, then tilt it up so the scraper makes full contact with the tongue, then pull it forward. Now,
that's gross. A cow tongue, that's gross.
don't swallow the thing. It's not a throat or intestine cleaner. Just go back as far as you can. If you're one of those people with a sensitive gag reflex, I'm sorry. But keep at it. That goes away with practice.
The more costumes and stuff he wears and that little x-ray, my child mind thought these things were directed by frickin'... Who's the famous director? Steven Spielberg, Quentin Tarantino, Sam Raimi, Baz Luhrmann? Mark Webb.
Don't be surprised if you see a line of really gross crap along the top of the brush. This means it's working. This was in your mouth. You can see why I've been so concerned about this.
Good to know the mouth gunk is exaggerated. But that usually doesn't gross me out. But this time it just did. Once you've gagged once, it's over.
The whole planet of people running around with septic fluids in the same mouths that they talk with, that they eat with, that they kiss with. It's disgusting! The Ora Brush works because its bristles are designed after a surgical scrub brush, the same kind of bristles surgeons use to clean off their hands before they cut you open. That's why 9 out of 10 people can see the gunk. And if you don't see anything, that's okay. Surgeons don't see the stuff that comes off their hands, but that doesn't mean it's not there. Now, some people ask how hard they should brush. Here's a little tip. If your tongue is bleeding, you're brushing too hard. Like if you brush your gums too hard with a toothbrush, they bleed. A toothbrush.
Fake blood was also huge at the time. Everyone used it. Think of any Shane Dawson video, Smosh videos, anything from 2009. There was just so much fake blood.
It's science. Maybe people have trouble because of all the OraBrush's complicated parts. There's the handle part, and the brush part. Wait a minute. And don't forget the ever-important scraper part. We recommend using the OraBrush twice a day, morning and night. Part of the oral hygiene routine machine. Do it after you eat smelly food, after you drink coffee, or after you're done smoking.
Just so you know, if you smoke, he knows.
The OraBrush lasts as long as your toothbrush. You should replace them at the same time. It can't last forever.
Forever and ever, you'll be on my tongue, and I will love you forever and ever. You'll be on
Now that you know how to use your OraBrush, spend some quality time with it every morning and night. If you still want practice, try it on your dog, on your cat, on your grandma. It's fun for the whole family. OraBrushing is the new pillow fighting in your underwear. Now that you know how to use your OraBrush, spend some...
I hope I don't get sued for that one. I think his red t-shirts are why I wore red t-shirts for years. Man, I really love Austin. Okay, this video is about where I remember not watching another one again. World's biggest tongue.
I think it's high time you become acquainted with the tongue and why so much bad breath comes from it. Now, in the past, I've demonstrated this with a cow tongue, but I think to get the full understanding, you need to see it with a human tongue. So I apologize if some of you get queasy.
I don't know if they swapped directors or something, but that wide-angle close-up, it's artistic.
But we have a human tongue for you to get familiar with this powerful little organ. Let's bring out the tongue. This is your tongue.
A representative of their tongues, right?
It's the biggest tongue we could find.
Thanks.
This is where 90% of your bad breath comes from. Let me explain why.
Are we live?
Large quantities of naturally occurring bacteria accumulate on the posterior dorsum of the tongue.
Why are you pointing up in
This
my
area,
face?
this area.
Man, I hate the world's biggest tongue. I really hate him. Like, I really hate him. He's like the Jerry Seinfeld of the OraBrush videos, just standing there, why, my tongue? Why you want to do with the tongue? I hate him.
The area of the tongue is relatively dry and poorly cleansed, and bacterial populations thrive on food debris, dead tissue cells, and postnasal drip, which occurs when these sinuses accumulate too much mucus that then drips into the nose, the throat, and the back of the tongue.
Takes one to know one.
100% what he said.
The putrescent smell of indole, scatol, or polyamines, which smell like feces, or the rotten egg smell of
Bird sandwich, like trying to give a zombie a hickey, sucking on roadkill. What are we talking about?
We're talking about you. We're talking about bad breath and how to get rid of it. We're talking about how you need to clean your tongue. Clean it so you don't stink.
I showered yesterday.
Okay, Austin is like Alex from Cow Chop, and the big tongue is like James. No, that's... I don't hate James from Cow Chop that much. You know what? I'm gonna stick with that one.
You need to clean it. Clean it with the OraBrush. See all the little bristles? You have to take the bristles and scrub and scrub and scrub and get all of that stinky bacteria out of there so there's no more stinky bacteria, so all you're left with is a clean tongue. Maybe two if you're lucky. You need to go back and forth and back and forth and scrub and scrub and scrub until you get every ever-loving organism of bacteria off.
Hey.
They broke the fourth wall. Now I don't have the illusion that they were just in a white existence. Now I know that it was some room with a cupboard and a chair. And it was just paper all along. Their world was just paper, man.
Just clean your tongue.
Clean your tongue. You know those girls? The girls coming back? Is that a wrap?
I love this bit so much because as you can see, if you look at the left side of the screen, Austin's cue was to just leave, but he just walks to the side and he's just still in frame, standing there facing a wall. And this was sort of around the time of the downfall of the OraBrush ads. Okay, the last of the videos featuring Austin came in 2012, called Replace Your Ora Brush. Now, we've skipped over a lot so far, but I'll get back to it. I like there that they've taken the elements of like the iMovie making and everything that they had to use for the first video and just sort of updated it, so it still looks like it fits in with the aesthetic of these videos, but it just looks way more professional, except for the fact that you can now see the creases in the paper behind him.
In an ideal world, good things would last forever. And bad things... well, bad things wouldn't exist in an ideal world.
He killed the tongue. He killed the tongue. Oh my god, he killed the tongue.
But this isn't an ideal world, and bad things do exist. And it could be your breath. Remember, 90% of bad breath comes from a dirty tongue. In an ideal world, you could just replace your dirty tongue and get a new one. But again, this isn't an ideal world. And even though the OraBrush's ultra-soft, micro-pointed bristles and scraper combination do a fantastic job of cleaning off the tongue, eventually, they wear out. And they're not as effective as when they were new. So unless you have a magic self-replacing tongue, clean your tongue gunk with an OraBrush, and replace your OraBrush when you replace your toothbrush, because it gets old and worn out, just like your toothbrush.
On that screen, it said every 3 to 4 months replace it. I think this is why Austin left the OraBrush ads. I reckon it's because in the first video, he clearly states,
you can use this longer than your toothbrush.
The OraBrush can last longer than your toothbrush. It can last 6 months. And then they made him make an ad where he said every 3 to 4 months replace it, about the same frequency of your toothbrush. They made him look like a liar. They made him look crazy. 100% guaranteed that is why Austin M. Craig left the OraBrush ads, because they made him lie to sell more OraBrushes per year per customer. And also probably that annoying tongue.
And because all good things must come to an end, but not all bad, dirty, disgusting, foul, gross things.
So replace your OraBrush when you replace your toothbrush.
I already told them that.
Three tongues. 3 tongues. 3 tongues.
Click here to find a store near you where you can buy or replace your OraBrush. Click here to find out more about OraBrush, or click here to see more adventures from a dirty tongue.
In 2017, OraBrush released another ad. Austin Craig, as I said, was gone. And this new ad is sort of a testament to the fact that they've just gone to regular advertising. This new ad isn't viral because it lacks everything that the first ads had.
Bad breath packs a punch. 90% of bad breath comes from a dirty tongue. OraBrush cleans tongues in a way toothbrushes can't handle. OraBrush, take your breath away.
Nothing about that ad made me want to buy an OraBrush. Like, I already want one, but I don't want that one. I want the Austin Craig OraBrush. Like, I legitimately do not want to buy from whatever company made this ad, because I only want to buy the OraBrush from the one who made me want to buy an OraBrush. Not to mention the fact that the leaf blower craze was probably also around 2010, so I don't know why they're still doing it in 2017. I just find it crazy how after so many successful ads that they could go to such a generic and just tasteless ad. Okay, so I mentioned I skipped over something, and you're gonna love this. What I skipped over is a series from the OraBrush channel called The Diary of a Dirty Tongue. There are like 25, 30 videos about this dirty tongue. And I remember these coming out, and I watched, I think, one of them, and then I never wanted to watch another one again. I hate the dirty tongue. The dirty tongue met the annoying orange, got evicted by his landlord, wore a Halloween costume, joined Little League football, had a tickle fight. There are at least 2 videos with Wheezy Wader. I don't blame you if you've never heard of Wheezy Wader. He was a relatively popular YouTuber for the time, but I think when I went on his channel just a couple of weeks ago, I don't think he's even still broken 1 million subscribers, which, needless to say, pretty much makes you irrelevant these days. Don't look at my subscriber count. The other thing I'm not watching is any of the music videos for OraBrush, because there was one from the original OraBrush run that didn't include Austin Craig, but it was still in the same old YouTube fashion of music video, and then there was a more recent OraBrush rap 2 years ago, but I just don't want to watch them. Like, there's not a cell in my body that wants to watch a music video on YouTube. I'm not all about that. I don't believe Austin Craig ever acted in anything besides these ads, which is super just unfortunate. He's a great personality. I would have loved to have seen him host a game show or something. Like, I would legitimately go and watch anything that he was in. He is currently working with a company called Mainframe, which is just a bunch of stuff that I don't understand, but you can go look it up if you want. It's the Web3 platform for unstoppable applications resistant to trackers, hackers, gatekeepers, and censors, which are straight over my head, but maybe you're interested in that stuff. He only has 2,000 Twitter followers, so probably time he got some of that love that he deserves for boosting a product that no one wanted to the #1 tongue brush in the world for 10 years. I love you, Austin. I really do love you. There are just some of those people, you know, that have a personality that you really connect with, and I still want an Ora brush. So if someone can please tell me where to get them in Australia, or can send me one, like go buy one at Walmart, I'll pay you and you just send it over. That would just mean the world to me. Besides that, I might make another video talking about Diary of a Dirty Tongue, if I'm brave enough, and maybe the music videos or something. But please tell me if you remember the Ora brushes down in the comments, or if you ever got one and how well it worked, because I really want to know. And you can like, subscribe, all that stuff, but just tell me about the Ora brushes, that's all I really care about. I hope you all have a great week. Sorry again for being late. I would say it's not going to happen again, but it might. And I'll catch you next week, next Wednesday, on time. Bye.